Hey everybody, and welcome to the 10th episode of this game dev tutorial. Sorry, it's been a few extra days this time. I was a little bit under the weather, so didn't really feel like doing the extra work. Sorry about that. We'll get to more stuff. I would like to point out that the entire solution is uploaded into in the provided materials area. As this is the 10th episode, I was figuring it'd be nice for you guys to have kind of a catch-up point. I know a lot of people aren't going to want to do all the simple stuff that we've done so far, but I wanted everybody to have the solution. So, make sure you grab that, and that'll be at the end of the tutorial. Will be what's uploaded, so you guys don't have to do a whole lot. This episode's going to be... oh wow, I didn't rename it. It's going to be adding a player class. Which really, what it is doing is cleaning up some of our not so awesome code. And I kind of did it on purpose because I wanted to show some steps for cleaning up code. It's important to learn how to do things and how not to do things. I've been doing some things, like I said, not perfect on purpose because I wanted to show a better way to do it, and one way to do that is to give an example of how not to do it and then to show how to do it. It doesn't mean all my code from here on is going to be that perfect code all the time. I am trying to make these tutorials quick, and so that does lead to some not as pretty code and not as readable sometimes and all that kind of stuff. So every so often I might have to stop and kind of clean some stuff up, and I may do that before releasing the solution each time. So this is one of those times. We have what I can consider a game. The purpose is to score points, and the ability to lose is by your guy dying. And so at this point we have a game. Let's clean up the code, and then we can go from there with the next tutorial. Okay, so we're going to create a player class. We're going to overload player class and user class. The player class with user and AI player. Obviously, we'll add AI to this class, and we'll add user controls to this class. So we want to move the code from world to the player classes. We're going to add a score to game global, so we can move that out as well. And then I have some art that I made. Here, let me grab it and show you guys that stuff first, because why not? I was watching a StarCraft tournament, and I just kind of sat there and was doing some stuff. This is one of my better pieces of art I've ever made. As sad as that is, that's one of the best I've ever done. That's a little portal that we can use for our spawn points, and I've got a spider, a tower. Eventually, I'd like to have this something we have to protect. So it's a point to protect. Spider will lay spider sacks, and then little spiders will come out. And then I have two different color imps that we can do stuff with. And then eventually, I want them shooting projectiles, so we'll have little acid balls. Again, those will be included in the project. So let me just start by adding those. Why not, right? We'll go into, let's say, well, we have mobs. That's a good one to go with for now. Like, you have to click that. Let's see, that's a mob, that's a mob, that's a mob. Whoops. We want the X and B's. So that's a mob, that's a mob, that's a mob. Let's put those in there. And we'll content, copy if newer. You guys don't have to worry about this because I am going to give it to you guys, the whole thing, projectiles. So we'll have our acid ball. I do want to commit to showing everything on screen, so I'm not... This step would be something that I would kind of want to do off screen sometimes, but I know that it's kind of important at this point not to do that. I want everybody to see how where everything's coming from. Let's see. We want to do something like, I don't know, like spawn points. Right, and then I don't know if we'll consider the tower a spawn point, but we'll do it for now. We can move it if we don't like that. I may turn it to a building or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's call it a building. Let's just do that. I don't have this whole thing planned out yet. Part of it is a slow realization of what I want to do here. So we'll put tower in buildings. All right. So those are our wonderful new art pieces. I'm not actually going to use them for this tutorial, but I was sitting there sketching, so I figured I would add those. Okay, so first things first. Code-wise, come into world. We're going to add a new item. I'm just going to call it player. Add that. Okay, and then we're going to grab our region stuff, our dependencies, they call them, public, and then we're going to come down here, we're going to say public player, and then the update's going to use it's going to take in a couple of things. So it's going to take in the offset from the world, and then the enemy player. Now eventually this may be a list of players, but for right now let's just go with this, and we can update it as we go. Inside here we're gonna have to add like the unit updating and everything from world in a minute, but we'll get to that in a minute. We're gonna need the add units function, so let's do that. And then that's object info, and then we have oh, you know what we need? We don't have the list of units yet. So we're gonna need the public, not player, public list units equals new list. Alright, and then we're gonna need hero. Now this probably will end up being a list of heroes later as well, but for now let's just keep it the way we have it, because our goal is just to replicate everything in a much cleaner manner. And then we're gonna have a list of spawn points. Public list spawn points equals new. Done. Okay, sweet. And then down here now, units dot add, and in here we're gonna have unit info. Okay, so that matches kind of add mob in a way, just changed from mobs to units over in world. Then we're gonna have something called public virtual void change score, and then we'll take in an int score. This will become important in a little bit. We're not going to worry too much about it at this moment. And then we have our draw. So public virtual void draw. Alright, so we have our basic player class. We're going to build this so it saves the file. I guess you could push Control S if you really felt like it, but to save it, we're going to add a folder of players. I'm going to copy here. I'm going to paste into here. I'm going to call this user. Okay. User is us, right? Like we are a user. Thought I put the colon in. We are a user. So, yay. Oh, that's not right. Base. Okay. Obviously, I'm a little bit tired and maybe a little bit still under the weather. But I'm trying to be energetic. I'm trying to be interesting. I understand this is not my best recording, but I'm trying. Let's see. This is going to go to override. Override. I actually don't need this one in user. And then, well, let's leave it there for a second because I need it in the next one. And then this we don't need at all. And cool. So we don't need draw. And then we don't need these. So that was a lot of deleting mostly. And then override, right? And then so we save that. And then we copy that one. We paste it in the same folder. Then I call this one like AI player. I used to just call it AI, and then I realized I wanted to call literal AI, like the actual artificial intelligence programming, AI. So I started calling this AI player. All right, so same thing. All of that's there, and then like I told you, we don't need this, so let's get rid of it here. Okay, so those are our two bases so far, base or children classes, and then we have our base class. And now we need to start jumping back and forth into world and getting those things done. So let's start here. Let's start with public user, and then public AI player. Okay, so we have those. Let's instantiate them, initialize them, whatever you want to call it. User equals new user. Happy days. And then AI player equals new AI player. Okay, so they're initialized. Yay. Okay, if this will end up changing in a minute here, but let's say user dot update, and then it's going to take in AI player. Dang. I need to slow down just a half step here, and then offset. Okay, so that's that, and then we will have AI player dot update, and it takes in user, and it takes in offset. Okay, so they need sight of each other, and that's why we're passing them in. Again, you can make packets for these and pass in everything you need in individual, in one packet instead of individual variables, in individual parameters. But in this case, we're just going to do this for now. Now, what we're going to do here is, we should do the draw first, real fast. Just real fast. Let's come down here and do draw. User.draw, and then it takes an offset. Same thing for AI player. Draw takes in offset. Okay, sweet. Got those in. So now what we got to do is we got to start removing things from here. So like, watch. We're going to take out hero. Control X, so we're copying it. Boom, tons of errors. That's expected. Now in user, we're going to say, oh, we actually already have that, huh? We have that in player. Yeah, we have that. Okay, cool. So then we end up with all this stuff, right? We end up with all these errors. So we've got some stuff wrong with it in UI. So instead of being world.hero, what we're now worried about is world.user.hero. Now this is super sloppy, and we will... I do not like seeing a chain of classes called like this. When you're doing this, usually you could do it in a much cleaner way. We'll worry about that another time. But that's icky looking, to say the least, and would be frowned upon, say, if you were doing that in an interview. Okay, so we did those ones, then we go this one. Okay, so this is the initialization of hero. We need that. and we need that in user, so we're just going to do it in the constructor. Okay. Next, we have this hero.dead, so that's user.hero. Now, the updating of hero should be done in player because it's here in this base class, so we should update it here as well. So, and then what we'll do here is we're going to say if hero not equal null, meaning if it's initialized, then we're good. And then we're going to have to switch out the offsets, right? So that's good. And notice I'm just double clicking the next error, and we're going one error at a time. Mobs is taking in just a hero. That's a change we need to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to unit, and unit's now going to take in a player, an enemy, right? So that fixes that. And then we actually don't need mobs, so let's take this whole thing because it's going to become unit now, and we're going to move it to player. Right. Okay. And then, so this is now units. This is units. This is offset. This takes in enemy. Notice there to there. And the reason we're doing this is because now we can spawn units on our side too, and they can do things with the AI. As opposed to if we had left it just on mob, they wouldn't be able to bring in their enemy. It's an important distinction, and it leaves options open to us in the future. I don't know again exactly what we're going to do with it, but I'd like to keep options more open. It's not like we couldn't go back and change it, but we want to be able to not program a bunch extra later and have to go back and change it. Alright, so this is changing score 1. We didn't set up change score. Notice I'm trying to go one step at a time and not leave anything undone. Okay, so each time I come to a new thing, I want to fix it right now. And this is the way I kind of do things. It's a little bit recursive in the way that my mind works. And if I do it this way, I tend to make a lot less mistakes. I don't know if that'll work for you guys, but it does work well for me. So in game globals, we need to make public static. Static makes it global. I don't know if I mentioned that before. If you don't put this here, then it won't be global. That's what makes it global. And then score and equals 0. So we're going to initialize it right away to 0. It doesn't. It's an int, so it doesn't really hurt your load times. It's no big deal. Oh, by the way, this file happens at load time. So if you try to initialize everything in this file, you will end up with some lag right at the beginning of your game. Now, an int's not going to cause a problem there, but if you put too much stuff in here and it starts to try to initialize big things, you could run into issues. Alright, so let's jump over here now, and we're going to say change score is just game globals dot score plus equals score. Okay, so we did it here in AI player because we don't want it updating in user. So if one of our own characters dies, we don't want to gain score. So that's why we're doing it there. Okay, so mob now needs to get player enemy, and then the AI is going to get the hero for mob. That's fine. So we'll just say enemy.hero, and now that all links up. So that's good. We made it through all that. That's awesome. Now we're here. We say hero speed. This is our scrolling, and so we'll want to say user dot for now. Eventually we'll fold this into player, most likely, or we'll pass a packet with this information in it. That probably is going to be the best way to do it, but we won't worry about that kind of a thing. Eventually I will cover it more. And then hero.draw. So we want to take this because it's an important thing. We're going to put it in player, and we're going to wrap it the same way. So if hero not equal null. Okay, so why am I doing that? Why am I wrapping in that? Well, AI player is not going to have heroes yet, so this is going to be null. So we don't want it to break. So this is what we're doing here. All right, so we've moved hero. Now we need to move mobs. Right? We don't need that anymore. Pop up some errors, and we'll jump to it. So projectile mobs to list, we no longer need that. What we need is okay, so here's a bit of an issue. We're gonna talk about it real fast, but then we'll solve it a little bit later. So units and mobs doesn't exist anymore. What does exist is AI player. I think that's how I spelled it. No? Where is it? There it is. It's 2 capitals. Okay. And this will work. What we're going to have to do is pass in a list of all players, not the units involved, because we don't know whether the projectile is created by well, we do know because it's in our projectile, but we don't have from this level when we're looping through. In the loop, we won't necessarily know which set of units to pass in. We could test for it and then pass in the proper set of units, but I would rather do the testing for it inside projectile than do it out here in world, where world can become a very large class, and we don't want to worry about that. But that's something we'll have to address a little bit later, but we've discussed it at least so you understand the issue. Right now, all projectiles are looking for AI player stuff. Add mob no longer exists. I don't think I got rid of that, though. I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say, well, let me look. I don't remember what I did there. Let me check my prompt, find it real fast, and then look and see what I did. Okay, so what I did was I said AI player dot add unit, and then mob and info. Okay, so remember that add unit that we put in? That's where I used it. Sorry, I couldn't remember on the fly. I try to do this off the top of my head for the most part, so that it's kind of a stream of consciousness, so you guys can see how I'm thinking. Sometimes I don't really remember. So that's what I did. That way I didn't have to change the linking of the functions and stuff. But all right, cool. And then we have the draws. So we'll come and we'll take that. And just like the updates, we're going to move into player, and then we're going to put them in here, and these are just units. And then we have the offset. Okay, great. Did that one. Now, come up here. We'll say spawn points. Right. Wait for the arrows to pop up. There they are. This is their initializations. Spawn points go in AI player. So that'll get them set. And then, let's see, our next problem is updating them. So that goes in player. Now, the reason I'm putting these in player is because we could create, like, our guy could drop a let's say if it was a mech game, you could drop a box, the little factory that creates mechs, and little mechs start popping out and helping us. So it could be like a skill or a spell or something or whatever. So we want to be able to have spawn points on both AI characters and regular users. So that's why we're putting it where we're putting it. And then we'll take the draw and we'll do the same thing in player. And I actually think I just put the other one in draw too. That was dumb. Okay, let me fix that. So the update actually goes up here in update. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not feeling perfect right now. Alright, so we've got that. So we have hero, we have spawn points, we have units. Let's come into world. We no longer need num killed. That will break in at least one place, 2 places. Okay, and then this now is game globals dot score, and we say score. All right, so we've changed the name of that, and then yeah, that seems like we did that. We moved a bunch of code. We changed score, and we added the new art. I think that we're in a good spot. Let's look at world real fast. And you'll notice how much simpler all this became. All that extra code became 2 lines. Just very easy to follow the code now. If you want to follow the code into user, yeah, you're gonna have the same code there. But instead of being in world where you have a ton of stuff to have to look through, you'll now only be looking at just the 2 lines. And then the same thing for draw. We have projectiles. We actually want the projectiles drawing over the top of the other things. So let's do that. Whatever draws last is what's on top. And then, yeah, well, let's see real fast if it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll... nope. Okay, this one's player, enemy, and then no, that can't be right. That's not right. This is virtual. That's why it wants it fixed. And let's build. See if those go away. Those went away. All right, let's run it. See if our program works. If not, then we'll work on it some more. So we're here. And things are not updating. Okay, let's figure out why. So we have in world, we are calling the update for user's update is blank. So we just need to say base dot update enemy offset. Okay, there's that. And then we want to do the same thing for player AI, because its stuff isn't working either. You know what we didn't do? World still has... oh no, it's fine. Yeah, we're good. Okay, let's run this. Alright, so our updating now works, but they're not spawning. So, let's figure out why our spawn points aren't working now. Player, spawn points. You know what, I bet you it's something to do here. But, alright, let's see. Let's see. That should be override. Little things like that, they can really mess you up. So because I changed my update function in unit, this overrides it because the virtual is back in unit. Alright, let's run this. Whoa. Ran into something. Oh, breakpoint. Okay, there's our guys, and we are back to having the game doing everything it used to do. So, nothing's changed gameplay-wise, but the code is much more manageable. There's still more that can be done to make it even more manageable, but this is quite enough for this. And make sure you grab the newest solution if you haven't kept up with everything thus far. If you have, then you have everything I'm going to put up already. If not, then make sure you do grab it. Alright. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy having the solution. If you guys have ideas for topics that you want covered, please let me know. I have lots of things I want to cover, but if you guys have topics you guys want covered, let me know, and I will try to prioritize those things, or at least start working towards getting to them. And then also, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to keep putting these out. Even if I don't feel good, I'm going to be putting them out. So, hope you guys have a great day, and I will get number 11 up in the next few days. Alright, thank you so much. Have a good one.